Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are taking our very first look at the brand new American carrier, the most decorated ship in US history, USS Enterprise. So, with that being said, let's get to our commander. We're running Ernest King, we're running Jersey Swirsky and Taman Yamaguchi. We are also running Swatting It Flies, Stronghold, Out of Sight, and Burn Baby Burn. Now, obviously, this skill is completely freaking useless on this ship, but we don't really have any. I guess I should have went with Look at Me Now, but I didn't bother changing the skills because I was too busy doing my job. But yeah, so if you don't know why this makes no difference on this ship, it's because the ship has AP bombs, not HE bombs. And we have no skills to buff AP bombs at all. So, yeah, fun. We're also running fully packed because extra consumables, all that good stuff. And death from above is bleh, whatever. Anyway, let's go into the overall build. We are running the Flight Control Mod 1. We're running AA Guns Mod 2. We're running Concealment System Mod. And we're running the Air Groups Mod 3. For our loadout, we are running the Italian Unity flag as well as the camo that comes with the ship. Obviously, the biggest change between this and another American carrier is the fact that this has AP bombs. But do not get it twisted. These are not good AP bombs. Period. They're just not. Most of the time, the only thing that these things are really effective against are lightly armored battleships and cruisers. That's it. Can't do anything against destroyers. I mean, you can try to nickel and dime them for like 150 damage apiece, but good luck. And then, of course, you got the slowest goddamn torpedoes on the planet. These torps are freaking stupidly slow. So let's get right into the specs. Survivability, 51,400 hit points with a 28% torp reduction. Aircraft, you get the SB-2C Helldiver dive bombers with 3,248 hit points. Moving at 163 knots. They attack in squads of 3, and you can have 9 aircraft per group. Detectability 7.4 kilometers for the planes. 3 bombs in the payload, so they do drop a lot of bombs. So don't get that twisted. They drop a lot of bombs, but again, they're really only effective against cruisers or lightly armored battleships. Maximum bomb damage is only 2,700, so it's pretty pathetic. But again, they're dropping 3 bombs per group, so if you hit all your bombs, you could absolutely devastate somebody. And if you're talking 2,700, each plane has 3 bombs each. You're attacking with 3, so that's 9. 9 times 2 is 18. 7 times... yeah, anyway, you guys get the deal. So 7 times 9 would be what, 36, 40? No, that'd be 4 times 9. Dumb. I'm sorry. Math is hard. So sue me. Aircraft maximum flight range is 38 kilometers. It's literally 2:30 in the morning, so you're gonna have to give me a break. Also, I've got like a really sore throat, so I'm kind of sick. I don't know what's going on. Assuming I've got just some whatever's going around right now, but yeah, you can hear it in my voice. My voice is not particularly amazing. Sound like a 90-year-old smoker. Anyway, back to the task at hand. Aircraft restoration time, 29 seconds with this build. Aircraft on deck is 18. Aircraft per restoration is only 1. TBF Avenger. Hit points, 2,704 with a maximum speed of 161 knots. Again, you get 9 aircraft per squadron, and they attack in groups of 3. Detectability is 8 kilometers. Torpedoes in the payload is just 1, so it's not like your Saipan. You don't get to drop 2 torps per drop. However, these do have a unique thing about them. You can essentially drop these torpedoes from point-blank range on a ship. Now, obviously, you're going to be giving up some of your planes doing that, but it almost guarantees that you can land these torpedoes unless, of course, you're up against something that's very maneuverable and very quick to accelerate and decelerate, like cruisers, like destroyers. This thing has like no counter to destroyers at all. It's awful. Personally, I do not enjoy this carrier. Is it the worst? Probably not, but it's not particularly amazing. I figure it'll probably end up getting a buff at some point because right now in its current configuration, it's so lackluster that it's just like, why would you even bother playing this, let alone buying it to play it? other than the fact that it's a collector's item because it's, like I said, the most decorated ship in U.S. history. A lot of people say Battleship New Jersey, but Battleship New Jersey and Enterprise, I believe, are tied. But Enterprise got all of its battle ribbons in one war, whereas we know New Jersey went through, what, 4 different wars? Anyway. Maximum torpedo damage, 6,467 damage. They also seem to do a pretty good job of causing floods. At least so far, I've noticed that I've gotten quite a few floods with these, only dropping 3 torps. Torpedo speed, 40 knots. That's what I'm saying. Like, literally the slowest torpedoes on the planet. So anytime you're going to try to drop a destroyer or a cruiser, like, they can usually just turn and burn and get out of the way. Torpedo range, 3.5 kilometers. Aircraft maximum flight range, 36 kilometers. Aircraft restoration time is 27 seconds. Aircraft on deck, 18 and 1 per restoration. Artillery, you have 127 millimeter Mark 24. They call them secondary armaments, but are they really? I mean, if this is the only armament you have to shoot at things, wouldn't this be your primary armament? I mean, obviously, I know it's a carrier, so it's got aircraft, but if your only way to protect yourself is secondaries, I would say that would be your primary, but that's just me. 8 127 millimeter Mark 24s, firing range 5 kilometers, reload time 6 seconds with a HE shell damage of 1,800 and a 9% chance to set fires. AA defense, you got 20 millimeter Oerlikon Mark 4s. You get 50 of those, doing 230 damage per second at 2.6 kilometers. You have the 40 millimeter Bofors Mark 1. You get 16 of those, doing 116 damage per second, reaching out to 4.5 kilometers. You got the 40 millimeter Bofors Mark 2. You get 24 of those, doing 122 damage per second, reaching out to 4.5 kilometers. And then you have the 127 millimeter Mark 24 dual purpose primaries. 8 of them doing 82 damage per second, reaching out to 6.4. As far as carriers go, not the best AA in the world. Maneuverability, 32.5 knots, maximum speed, 1,007 meter turning circle, rudder shift 13.1. Concealment by sea is 11.6, by air is 8.9, and guaranteed is always 2. Statistics, probably awful. 60% win rate, better than I thought. But most of the games that I've played have been pretty lackluster. Average damage 60,000, which is probably right where I'm at with most carriers. But again, this feels worse than that. Average XP 1,500 seems a little high, but then again, we've won more games than we've lost so far, so we'll go with that. Armor, it's carrier. Doesn't really have armor. You do have a little bit of a torpedo blister to protect your sides there, so it looks worse than it is, but it isn't actually as bad as you'd think. You get 21 millimeters of bow armor. Okay, 21 millimeters of your torpedo protection, but that's over top of what's also there, which is 38 mil. 40 mil. 40 mil side plating on this, so that is what it is. Alright, so looking at Citadel. Citadel is below the waterline. It's carrier. What more can you expect? I feel like that's kind of cheesy, but it does allow you to survive a lot of dumb stuff if you get caught. But yeah, other than that, it's a carrier. Don't get in a gunfight with a carrier. Onboard factory, high aircraft restoration speed. I don't know about that. You definitely want to go into plane saving mode where you're dropping bombs or torpedoes early to save planes if you're going into a heavy AA environment, because you will run out of aircraft. Stealthy aircraft with good concealment. I don't know about that. They seem to be spotted from a stupid amount of distance away, but that's just me. Allows people to dodge because they can see where your aircraft are coming from further away. AP bombs, it's equipped with AP bombs, and again, the AP bombs that are on this are not Parsifal levels of AP bombs. These are not citadeling most battleships. It is mainly battle cruisers and cruisers. That is about the only thing that this thing is capable of citadeling, at least in my opinion, or my experience so far. I have hit many battleships from maximum height and done basically nothing. They kind of just shrug it off. And then I've hit battle cruisers like the Nagato, like some of the other battle cruisers out there. I've hit them and citadeled them from lower drop ranges. But cruisers are the ones that are actually going to be your primary target. And guess what? There isn't a lot of right now. Cruisers. Go figure. Enterprise, USS Enterprise, the second Yorktown-class aircraft carrier, played a role in virtually every campaign in the Pacific theater of World War II. Enterprise participated at Midway, Guadalcanal, Leyte Gulf, Iwo Jima, Okinawa, and more. Like, just think about that. Every goddamn amazing Pacific battle this ship was in. Just think about that. Midway, Guadalcanal, Leyte Gulf, Iwo Jima, Okinawa. Like, can you think of any other, like, come on, man. The battle for the Philippines, maybe. But yeah, it is crazy to think how much activity this ship got during World War II and why it earned her 20 battle stars in one war. One war. And she was only around for like 10 years. Like 10 years. She was taken out of service after World War II shortly. I think it was like 10 or 11 years that she was in service. So that's crazy to me. But most decorated ship in U.S. history. I know it's tied technically with New Jersey, but again, New Jersey, multiple decades. This thing, 10 years, and got all of its battle ribbons in one war. So I hold that to a higher standard. She entered service 1938. There were 3 of them in the series. So the most decorated U.S. Navy ship of the war, but also I would say of all time. But again, I know she's tied. But anyway, let's take a look at this absolute legend. Again, it's carrier. Like, I don't consider carriers to be all that good looking, or at least not old school carriers. Newer carriers can actually be pretty cool to look at, but older carriers, not so much. They look like barges that have some superstructure slapped on and just have planes everywhere. So, that being said, let's get to the gameplay. Alrighty, so we are going to be on Shatter, and we are in the Big E. The Big Easy. The Enterprise. The Gray Ghost. All the things. Yeah, it's got so many names because it is a legendary ship from history, so there's at least that. Now, that being said, I don't think this is going to be anybody's favorite when it comes to playing carriers. Again, it has some advantages against cruisers and battle cruisers, but other than that, like, it's pretty brutal to play this thing. But we're going to give it the best shot that we can, and you guys know I am the self-proclaimed worst carrier player on the planet. I hate carriers. Can't stand playing them. Don't want to get better at them. I'm not enjoying carrier gameplay. However, I will say this. If you guys enjoy what I'm doing, punch that like button. And if you haven't subscribed already, what are you waiting for? Join the family. Join the Spartan Army today. Be a part of something great. Hit that subscribe button. Anyway, also, I am enjoying the battle carriers. I actually, spoiler alert, just put up what should be the damage record for the time being. I just can't enter it right away because of the whole stupid slow mode in chat, but right off the bat we see a cruiser, which is perfect. I'm gonna try to get a drop. This is not the ideal drop angle, obviously, but yeah, we end up getting the worst RNG on the planet. Of course, all my bombs go exactly where they have to dodge the cruiser. But again, these are all things like you just have to learn over time, right? Like, we want to try to line ourselves up to be dropping over the bow of the ship if at all possible to get as many bomb hits as possible. So far, I haven't had any real issues with overpinning cruisers. You can see I'm already pre-dropping. One of the reasons we do pre-drops, guys, because I get asked this every time I play a carrier, because apparently people just don't know, but the reason we pre-drop is so that we can save planes, so you don't run out of planes early in the match because you're flying into so much AA early in the game. Remember, when nobody's been shot yet, they have all their AA available. Once they start taking damage, AA will start getting knocked out, meaning later in the game, AA is much more feasible. Also, we're attacking a goddamn Cleveland, which has a lot of AA. But you can see we get one bomb hit out of that whole drop. He does manage to turn in just enough. We only get one bomb hit, but it is a Citadel for 2,700 damage. But you can see I'm already relocating towards the right side of the map because I want to stay behind this island if at all possible, because this map is really bad for carriers in the sense of people can just kind of walk across and spot you really early. So we're going to try to avoid that. Now, one thing I could have done better in this game would be to try to set up fighter planes a little bit better. I didn't do a very good job protecting my teammates on this side of the map from their carrier. I was really focused on trying to just do damage, which, again, not ideal, I know, but for content, I try to get as much damage as possible in the ships that I'm showing off because it makes the game more compelling, especially when you're playing a carrier and it's pretty goddamn boring to play with. But you'll see here, we go ahead and drop our bombs again, trying to save planes. That's what we're doing. We don't want all of our planes flying into the AA. Now here, as we come around the corner, I was thinking, do we go for the Cleveland again? I'm going to try my luck on the Nagato. Remember, Nagato is essentially a battle cruiser. Doesn't have a lot of armor, and here we line up our drop as best we can. We hit the button, and bonk, we actually get a double Citadel. This is the first time I've actually Citadeled a battleship in this game with these bombs. I've hit German battleships, I've hit German battle cruisers, I've hit all kinds of things. Haven't been able to Citadel any of them until just now with the Nagato. So, it kind of goes to show you that this thing struggles against battleships when it comes to getting damage. Yes, you can use the torpedoes, but again, you're only launching 3 torps. So, you really do rely on floods when you're using your torpedoes against battleships. And one of the things that I've struggled with is getting that permaflood. I've gotten a couple of them, but it's pretty rare. But as the Nagato starts pushing around the corner, we're going to showcase one of the perks of these torpedoes, meaning I'm going to showcase just how close you can get before dropping these torps. They have a very, very low arming rim. So you can get like point blank before you have to worry about losing, or before you can drop. Like, it has a very long attack timer, and that wasn't the best example, but we had to because he's turning towards us. We didn't want to have our torpedoes not arm. But we are going to catch him with a torp, and then we're going to go ahead and get our next set off. Now, as they're starting to separate from that Cleveland, I should get a much better chance at attacking these guys with the torpedoes. So, I don't remember if I actually do another plane save here where I pre-drop torpedoes just to try to save planes. But I've got to try to get over here and help our team out as best I can. You can see I'm paying attention to the mini-map. I'm trying to keep myself in a position where I can be useful. But, I mean, our team is positioned relatively well. We got early caps on the right. They got early cap on the left. So they've actually got the cap advantage. And as we push in, we've got a beautiful look at this this Nagato, and we have all of our planes to attack with. I decided not to pre-drop this time, so that I have more planes to attack the Nagato with. Now this is what I'm talking about, with being able to drop these essentially at point blank. Look at the arming distance of these torpedoes. It is very low. He starts turning away, which is not the move. You usually want to turn towards the torps, but we managed to get our first kill in this game with the torpedoes taking out the Nagato. And because we didn't drop our torps early, we are ready to go. Unfortunately, we end up flying through all the flak of the Cleveland that's just sitting here. And we're going to try to get some torpedoes on this guy to just try to keep him honest. But unfortunately, look at my team's position. My entire team that is on my side of the map, and of course those both go towards the right rather than splitting up a little bit. My entire team has backed off. We had the guy at the beginning running away from the side. He's now pushing back in. We have the cruiser that's been hiding all the way at the back of the map. And then the battleship that had to retreat. It's not ideal. But their battleship that's over there, I think was a Seton. It's about to go down. Nope, that was a Connecticut, actually. I thought that was a Seton. I was looking at the wrong side of the map. But we're going to fly back across the map again to try to keep things in our team's favor if we can. Our destroyer is going into the middle of the map to try to capture the base. He's got the Kaga over top of him, trying to drop him with bombs. And that is the one biggest downside of this ship, is you just don't have any counters for a destroyer. You have nothing. You don't have HE bombs to hit the destroyer with. The bombs on this thing do literally no damage. I think you'd be better off just crashing your plane into the freaking ship in order to try to do damage. But yeah, unfortunately they don't allow us to do that. Now, he makes another great turn here. We're going to try to get the drop away. You'll see I do hit the bombs, but again, we get really unlucky with the dispersion being very, very vertical and we're attacking from the worst angle possible. But here we get a chance to attack their carrier, so I'm like praying that the freaking timer runs out. There we go. And then we get the bombs away because we have to, and we are going to score a couple of citadels on them, getting a little bit of damage off of the carrier. If we're going to lose our planes, we might as well get some damage in the process. Up to 25,000 damage. Our teammates are trying to capture the base. There's a destroyer in the middle. The Fletcher's in trouble. We got a cruiser there hanging around. Our destroyer's currently fighting their destroyer. Their destroyer goes down. Turpitz manages to shoot him, so shout out to the Turpitz for shooting a destroyer. Thank you. But as we push in, we want to try to protect our destroyer, right? We want to try to protect our destroyer, protect our cruiser. Our destroyer managed to walk into the one place where he can be countered by the freaking Cleveland. Like, all he had to do is not go there, and he'd be fine from the Cleveland. But he manages to put himself right where the Cleveland can slap him. And he can't say that the Cleveland, like, he didn't know the Cleveland existed. Like, it's been obvious there's been a cruiser over there this whole time if you're paying attention to the map. And unfortunately, we are going to lose our destroyer to this Cleveland. As he goes down, we are going to try to get some shots into this this Cleveland, and we're going to try to torp him. We thought he was going to beach. He ends up slowing down, turning away from the island enough to keep himself from beaching. So again, we're going to try to line up the torps in such a way that we can get some torp hits. We take the shot. He's going to power into those torpedoes, turning straight into him, and he's going to get very, very lucky. One of the torpedoes brushes his bow, and he gets away. And we're getting really unlucky against this Cleveland. You can see I'm dedicating a lot of time to trying to get rid of this radar cruiser, right? Trying to give our team an advantage. Now here, we drop, trying to get the right side torpedo to hit him. Again, if I would have dropped mid, there was a good chance that I wouldn't have been able to get him. But we are going to catch him with a torpedo right up the prop shaft here, just kind of confirming that was what was going to happen. And we go ahead and bring out our bombers this time. Now that we've got him kind of on the edge of the island, he can't really dodge too much. We should be able to come in with these AP bombers and get some good damage on him. And that's our goal at this point. Try to get rid of this radar cruiser. The DPM of the Cleveland is dangerous. If we can get rid of him, the sooner the better, right? We've only done 29,000 damage because we've dedicated so much time to keeping this Cleveland busy. And as we come in here, again, we've got a beautiful look. He actually starts to reverse. It's just so unfortunate because it takes so long for us to get in there, but we do get the bombs away, and we get a single citadel. We hit him with two. Again, just getting screwed on the bomb drop there. Ended up overshooting him a little bit because we knew we had to try to go for it. We have one more immunity or reduction in damage here, so we're going to use this to try to get close to this carrier, get this drop away, because we can again get some damage on the carrier because we know we can citadel him. And not the best angle to drop from, but we do get a pretty decent amount of hits here, and we hit him 7 times, but only a single citadel, which is really unfortunate. But you can see there is a New Jersey starting to push in, and the New Jersey has the help of the Cleveland, which is really bad for me because there's a lot of AA right here. You've got the Cleveland's AA, the New Jersey's AA. Our cruiser ended up getting himself killed, so now it's just me versus pretty much everybody here in the middle of the map. Now, we are going to do this New Jersey pretty dirty. We have been able to do a pretty good job of saving our planes up to this point, so trying to come in here and get some good drops away. We've got those torpedoes that I was talking about where you have that beautiful ability to like launch at the last possible second, and that allows us to sneak in some torpedoes, guaranteeing multiple hits of torps. We get all 3 hits and a flood. He's turned away from us. We're coming back around trying to get another shot in. Fortunately, the Cleveland did die, so if we can come in, you can see I'm setting up my bomb strike, and he shoots down one of my planes. I go to drop a little bit early to make sure that we get those torps away. I was trying to use my auto drive to get us into a decent position, and now, unbeknownst to that New Jersey, he has literally put himself in the perfect place to counter me. Now, I do got the what I thought was a permafire or permaflood, because we already got a flood on him in the previous moment, and then he puts that flood out, and then I get another flood, but he's already got another damage con. I don't know how this happened. I'll be real honest. Like, you saw me just get 2 floods, like back to back, right? I'm not crazy. But he actually does the right thing. He can see my planes coming from so far away. He's going to try to beach himself on this island that's right here where my planes are coming from, which is going to keep us from really being able to drop. And you can see I'm not able to get the torpedoes away in time. My best bet would have been to simply fly through that and then come around and come from the other side. But unfortunately, that's not going to happen. We get one torpedo chance here. Are we going to get it away? Come on. Got to drop, drop, drop. Nope. He shoots it down at the last possible second. Fortunately, we do have the island to kind of protect us for the moment. We're going to come back around. We know he's flooding, or we know he's on fire right now because of our Helena that's on the other side that's doing some good HE damage. Again, we've got this guy to damage con twice, so thankfully we're going to hopefully get him out of here, because that'll be a lot of AA gun. And all we need at this point is our Helena not to get himself killed. Now, if you look at the position of our Helena, as we go to drop this guy, he goes down. The Helena has no hit points, right? And this is another one of those instances I could have done better to protect him by dropping planes over top of his head. But again, in the moment, I know that we're very low on, or we're very close on points. So if we can just keep this guy alive, which again I should have personally dropped planes over top of that guy, but if we could have kept him alive, we would have been able to potentially win this game. And these guys are sitting together, which is not ideal, but as we come through, we've got the Turpits lined up for our gun sights. He's the lowest. We're going to try to see if we can get a decent bomb strike away on him. Unfortunately, we're not able to get the bombs away early, but this is the second battleship that I've been able to citadel with a armor-piercing bomb. Again, it just seems like it's very, very minimal. Like, that wasn't even a high drop, unfortunately. Or, you know, that wasn't even like a high drop. So, I don't know. These bombs are weird. Like, I feel like they shouldn't citadel, and then they do. And then I feel like most of the time when they should citadel, they don't. Like, it seems like the bomb drop height, which is normally how you make them penetrate more, doesn't really matter when it comes to penetration. I feel like they have the same pen. I don't know. Somebody's going to have to let me know that knows more about it than I do, but it just doesn't seem like it has the change in penetration from high drops to low drops. So you're almost better off just trying to drop low. That way you can get as many hits as possible. But this game, unfortunately, is over. Even if I do manage to kill one of these battleships, I can't win. I would have to kill both of them. And so you can see I'm actually going for this guy with the torpedoes here with the Zeton, because you never know. This late in the match, he may have used all of his damage cons. So if we can get a torpedo hit and get a flood, that might get us a kill. And then we've got the Turpits right here. We should be able to get him. And unfortunately, once again, that we lose another plane right as we're about to hit the guy or get our drop away. And we are going to hit him with a torpedo, but we get a flood. But he's going to damage con that, and unfortunately we're just not going to be able to get back to really do anything before the end of this match. But 85,000 damage. I mean, I did everything I could in this match. Could have done a little bit better to help my teammate there at the end, at least with dropping planes over their head to try to keep them alive. But at the end of the day, we've done everything we can do, right? Like, I can't. That's one of the reasons I don't play carriers. I feel like I'm not able to do enough damage fast enough to really help my team win in these clutch situations. But we did everything we could. I've had some pretty mediocre games, decent games in carriers, but this one isn't one of them. 11 torpedo hits, 12 planes shot down. We did our best. 1,400, 2 kills. We ended up top half the team. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Personally, I wouldn't buy this, but that's just me. And if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.